Hey, welcome to Old Ass Movie Reviews. It is Thursday, September 2nd. Is it already? The second?
Yeah.
Second. Holy cow, man. The year's already going by. Crazy. We're going back to a classic this week with Humphrey Bogart and the Maltese Falcon. But first, a little maintenance on the website and what's going on. Thank you to all of our listeners for getting us close to 1,100 listeners since we've started, or downloads, I should say. I know it's not concurrent, but thank you for giving us a try. And if you do like us, share us, send us an email. Hell, just send an email to say hi. Let us know you're listening. Let us know you hated the show. Let us know you love the show.
Just let us know you love the show.
Leave us a rating. Tell us what you'd like to see if you enjoy hearing us, or what you like, what you dislike. What would you rather? What would you like? What would make our podcast better for you, basically? Just hit us up. It's oamoviereviews@gmail.com. Links are always on the podcast and on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook at OAMR. Hashtag OAMR, Old Ass Movie Reviews, where you can listen to two old ass guys talk about old ass movies. Or we talk about old ass movies, or I don't know. Either way, we're grumpy.
We've started just talking about anything.
Yes, pretty much.
If you just want to hear us grumble, that's good. That's fine too. I'll grumble about anything.
We've actually had shows go so far off the rails that we haven't ever aired them. So one day we'll have a special that is so expletive filled and inappropriate that our listeners will be in shock.
That will be the last show.
The hidden archives of Old Ass Movie Reviews. I do have it labeled on my computer. Scott and Dave go off the fucking rails.
And you've never showed the one we re-recorded.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
No, you never.
You're right. I have not.
You were like, I'm going to do that this week.
I still have it. We do owe you a Charlie Chan review, and it's a good one.
It is.
So I will probably try and just drop that, just a stealth drop sometime during one of the upcoming releases. Yeah. Stealth drop. That's what I do at work sometimes, just a little stealth drop, and people wonder what came out. But so
when somebody walks behind you,
hey, they got a mask. They got a mask on. Yeah.
I don't know. Got a mask on. You can't see me.
You can't tell who I am.
And don't forget, folks, hit the thumbs up, hit like, hit follow, leave us a review, leave us a comment. Just hang out, chat. We're friendly enough. I mean, hey, as long as you don't insult our mothers or anything, we're okay.
You can insult mine.
Oh, stop it. Just stop.
Hey, you told me you were watching something recently.
Well,
that you wanted to talk about.
It's not that I was watching it. It was more in terms of we were talking about a movie. Forgot what the hell movie we were talking about. Suicide Squad. And I was saying we were just talking about the writing of Suicide Squad. To counterpoint that, I watched Downton Abbey. I haven't seen every episode of it because I usually walk in when the wife, the first time around, I'd walk in, she's halfway in a show, I'd sit down and go, okay, who's that? Who's that? Who's this? Who's
it? Like, shut up.
Yeah, she'd spend like the first 5 minutes of me being in the room explaining who all the characters were. And I'm like, okay, got it. I'd miss an episode or two, and then I come back and go, who, why is this? Why, who's she dating now? It's like, you missed it. He's the dad. This happened, and this happened. But there is a character in Downton Abbey, and the writer, whose name has completely escaped me just now for no reason. He's taken this one character that, from the first episode, you just really dislike the guy. And then you grow to really despise the guy.
Oh, so it's going
that way. Then you get to a point where you freaking hate this guy. You're like, God, I wish he would kill this guy up. I really hate that guy. Just die already. And then all of a sudden, he starts making you feel for this character. He starts making you care about this character. He makes you, by the end of the series, be happy for this character. And in the first movie, I haven't seen that. I don't know when they're releasing the second Downton Abbey movie, but in the movie, you're really rooting for this guy. And I sat there and we were talking, and I said to her, look, I've never seen anybody do that except in the British Empire. It's another BBC movie, or television series, not a movie. Mm-hmm. And the character in that, I don't know who the writer was of that show, of the British Empire, but the character just starts out, it's a comedy, but you hate the guy. I mean, there's nothing likable about this guy. And by the time you get to the last episode, your heart is breaking for this guy. You just want to see him succeed so bad, finally. And you just find yourself rooting for the guy. It's all in the writing. And I want to literally just start seeing if I can find these scripts anywhere and just look and see, like, if I can pick up anything other than just watching the show. And I know a lot of it is the actors and the actresses.
But they had to have a source material. They had to have somewhere to go.
Exactly. The source material that this man writes is unbelievable. It is just, I'm telling you, if you haven't watched it, Scott, or anyone out there that's listening, watch Downton Abbey if you want to see good storytelling. And I know a lot of people look at that and go, oh, it's melodrama, it's British.
I'm all for, I love drama.
Oh
I love soap operas.
But they do have a lot of funny moments in it. There are moments that are just like, oh, that's pretty freaking good.
Yeah. But
the characterization of each character and how different they all are is just amazing to me. The guy is just incredible, and for the life of me, I can't think of his name, and I'm going to look it up. Well, you pick up.
Yeah, look it up. No. Well, when you mentioned that, there's a show that I absolutely loved, and what I've found on the internet, a lot of things are love-hate. Either people love it or they hate it, and they shit all over each other. I don't care whether you like the show or not. I absolutely loved Schitt's Creek, produced by Eugene Levy, his son and daughter, Chris Elliott. Funny as fuck show, but these people are horrible. They're rich, they're self-centered, they're narcissistic, they are absolutely rude, they're despicable, they lose everything, and they end up in this little tiny town. And by the time the show ends, you feel for them. They've become friends. You've seen them grow and become good people, and you realize why they acted the way they did. I'm not excusing that shitty behavior, but it's it's that talent to make. It's making it human, making it so fucking real. And I love to have empathy for a bad character. If you make me root for the bad guy, you've acted and written that really well.
You've really accomplished something as a writer and as a creator. The gentleman's name is Julian Fellows. I don't know why I forgot it. Julian Fellows. He just rolls
off the tongue. Yes.
He is just a fantastic. I would love to meet that guy. I don't even know what I would say to him. I'd just be like, really love your show. Shake the hand and walk away, probably. Bye. He'd be like, who is that bloody American? Oh, damn.
Fucking yank.
I thought he was going to ask me questions on how I could mentor him in being a better writer. But nope, he just walked away. Damn it. That's my chance again.
Silly Yanks.
Yeah, Yanks. I was going to give him a free ride on the hell of me teaching him how to be a writer.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Blew that, Dave.
I don't know if Julian Fellows actually talks like that. But the show, he probably does. The show is just fantastic. You said Schitt's Creek is just fantastic.
I love fucking Schitt's Creek. What?
I got nothing. I'm not saying anything. So where's the place I can go? I'm not saying anything.
There's a joke there, and I will share it.
You're not going to talk about your.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to talk about. But I was just thinking of Schitt's Creek. There's a really funny part when Eugene Levy sees the billboard for the town, and it shows the town's founder, I forget his name, but his last name is Shit. And his wife has bent over a creek getting a bucket of water, but he's positioned right behind him like they're doing something besides she just bending over. And Eugene Levy's talking to the mayor, Roland Shit, who is Chris Elliott. And he's saying, he's telling him, he's like, this is so offensive. Look at this. He's with his wife right there. And he's like, right. No, it's okay. It's not offensive because that's not his wife. That's his sister. So,
oh God.
So it's a good one. I recommend that. But that's when you mentioned that arc, that was the last time I watched something where I just really hated people. And I was like, I don't know if I can watch this show. And it's like, well, let me watch one more. And then I watched the entire series and that was it. And that's how that shit happens. But no, I will have to check out Downton Abbey. A lot of people talk about it, how good it is. And it's just one of those, it's like, I'll put it in my queue, and my queue is a mile long.
And it is, it's really one of those shows that I can only watch 2 or 3 episodes at a time. The wife can watch. She could probably turn it on in one day and then watch it all the way through to the end and not.
Oh my God.
I, on the other hand, look at her and go, please, this is too much melodrama for me. I've melodramaed out.
You need to lighten it up a little bit.
Yeah. Can we watch a comedy? But there's just so much good writing and good story. I'm so happy that she turned me on to it because it is such just good everything. I mean, the beautiful place that they go to was a friend of Julian Fellowes. And I think I don't want to get it wrong, but at some point he was just thinking about Downton Abbey, writing a story. And when he was staying with them, he was like, hey, if I get this made, this is the perfect place to film it. And they're like, ha, sure, whatever. Yeah, if you get it made, you come back and see us, baby. We'll talk. A couple months later, a year later, I forgot how much time had passed. He comes back to him and goes, okay, we want to use your place. They're like, we, what, who? And in him going there and getting them to say yes has helped them fix the Abbey, or not. It's not really an Abbey, it's something else.
Yeah.
But fix their ancestral home. The guy who lives there, all the tapestries and stuff on the wall, that's his family heirlooms. That's all his stuff. That's not BBC
set.
Coming in and setting anything up.
Wow.
That's where the guy lived. It's amazing. And he married an American, I think, if I remember.
Oh, that's correctly. Really cool.
And they have one horse. Like they showed her out there taking care of the horse, or maybe 2, but it's like, yeah, we got all these tables. Like
one horse, yeah.
2 horses, 1 horse, what?
That's actually really cool.
It's very interesting, and that's one of those things that you watch on all the extras on the DVDs and stuff. But it's pretty cool. I mean, he knows the people who own the Lord and Lady. I forgot who they were, but it's very nice, very very
neat.
Me, if I were them, I'd be renting that out as a bed and breakfast in a heartbeat for Americans, because Americans would be like, yeah, I'm gonna go over to Downton Abbey. I'm gonna look at this, baby. And they're like, okay, stop touching stuff. Stop touching everything.
It would happen once before they ruined it for everybody.
That would that would be me. I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna touch this, I'm gonna touch that, I'm gonna touch it. Because it's like, don't go in this room. Whatever you do, don't go here.
Oh,
well, I'm gonna go in there.
That's how horror movies start. You can't tell me I'm American. Fuck yeah.
It's America. But that's what's funny is this cat always yells at me because I'm always like, I see employees only, and I'm like, what's in there? She's like,
oh my God,
doing?
You're the asshole that walks into our break room every day.
Like, do not enter. Okay, tell me not to enter. That's how I got showed around an engine room on a cruise line.
Very nice.
I just walked in. I was like, where does this door go? Walked in, walking down a freaking hallway in the middle of nowhere. Bump into a guy. He's like, what are you looking for? I said, I have no idea. I'm just walking around.
Oh my God.
He just kind of looks at me and goes, follow me.
I am not going on a vacation with you.
I went through the engine. I was much younger. Went through the engine room, getting stuff out. Look, he goes, what do you think? I was like, well, this is really cool. I wasn't expecting this. He's probably just like, how many people I do this with? People just
honestly, probably none.
Fucking ship is huge, man. mostly just got lost. It's a big boat.
Very cool. Oh, I'll definitely check it out. I watched Disney's Cruella, which came out on
How
Friday.
did you like it?
I love it.
Yeah.
I really liked it. I'm glad I didn't pay $30 for it, but
Me
since
too.
I had Disney, it was really good. It was a good origin story. I'm not going to spoil it because it had a nice. I'm not going to say a twist. It's an overdone twist. God damn it, Disney! You don't have to kill a child's parents to have a fucking hero. Done.
Oh. Did she turn into Batman?
No, she didn't. Yes, she did. Really, but there. See, I'm on spoiler territory.
I see. I was gotcha.
Spoilers.
Don't ruin it, but I got it.
I will ruin it. But I will ruin this part. As an adoptee, I am so fucking sick of it being, oh, here's an adoption. This is your real mother. This person lied. This person. You know what? Write a fucking story. We're not here for your goddamn shit, Disney. Sorry, that's me on my soapbox. Just sick of seeing the same storyline. Look at Frozen. Oh. Here's Elsa and Anna, and well, the parents go off and they're dead, and they're dead, and Bambi's parents dead, and all of this, and it's like
the father was still alive.
Yeah, but you never see the father's. The father's not important. Disney has a problem with that. They feel that the only way to get you to suck in and feel for their person is to put them through trauma and tragedy. You don't have to build a hero by beating them the fuck down, and that's my problem with it. However, the Cruella story is really good.
I would think that depending on the character that you're building, depending on the hero you're building, is how you handle it. Disney, I would agree, handles it the same way for everybody.
Yep.
Like, oh, well, we're just going to kill everybody in your family, but you'll be the last one alive. Well, that's not going to traumatize anybody. Well, we're going to kill your dog right in front of you, but you're going to love dogs. Well, that's not going to help me.
I find it cheap. I find it a way to pull heartstrings.
Yeah. I would say that.
You want to, I was in a screenwriting class with John Snyder, and he had mentioned you want to grab somebody's heartstrings, you kill the dog. You don't kill a person or anything, you kill the dog.
Right.
And and he went on, and I agree with this, it's a cheap and lazy way to get a fucking reaction out of your audience.
Absolutely. Don't take William Goldman is good for pointing out things like that. If you ever get a chance to read any William Goldman, he's the guy who wrote The Princess Bride.
Okay.
And he wrote Butch and Sundance movie. And God, so much
Both
other stuff.
Very good.
I can't even think of it. But I just watched, it's funny. First, I'm sorry, I'm on a rant now.
Go ahead. I just ranted at Disney.
I just watched the other night Princess Bride again. And I'm watching this and I'm like, this is so well done. It was his book. He wrote the book. And then he turned it into a movie. And I'm just sitting there watching this movie like, oh my God, this is such a good story from beginning to end. You love who you're supposed to love. You hate who you're supposed to hate. You root for who you're supposed to root for. And it's got the most fantastic sword fight, bar none, in that movie. The take away all Jedi lightsaber crap, take away every movie that ever had a sword fight up until this, and even I haven't seen one since it compares. The fighters in that using their right and their left hand, and the stunts that they do in that back and forth is just amazing to me. And I know a lot of people look at it and go, it's not very long. It's not long, but it's that freaking, the guys, they're both fighting with swords, and the guys, I know a secret that you don't know. And he's like, what's that? I am not left-handed. I am right-handed. And he, pulls the sword and they start fighting back and forth. Meanwhile, Carrie Hughes is still fighting with his left hand. He goes, well, I have a secret too. And he goes, what is that? I am also right-handed. they switch and they start fighting again. And it's the two guys. It's Patinkin and Hughes fighting both left-handed and right-handed. I can't imagine how difficult that was. I cannot imagine how difficult that was.
They made it look effortless.
that's what I tell Kat. I said that is the magic. That they make it look easy. They make it look easy.
That's
just
just it. And that's the way it is when we watch these movies and you see an actor that just hits you. It's like, wow. You don't see them as the actor anymore. You see that character. They have made it so fucking real, and it's just something little and everything. And that's what I'm going to jump back to Cruella real quick without spoiling anything. Emma Stone is absolutely marvelous in this movie. Her ability to convey emotion with so little movement and just a twinkle in the eye or anything was just amazing to watch and enjoy. Overall, the movie is really good. I jumped on the Cruella bandwagon as it rolled and became a big fan of hers because of the way they did it. Not the fact that we had to have trauma, that just pisses me off, but the way the character became by the end of the movie was a really felt for. And it's almost like they're changing a little bit of how the original 101 Dalmatians and stuff like that. So this is a prequel to all. Well, kind of. It's a mix of a prequel, a new. It's a weird blend,
like another universe kind of feel.
Kind of, but it's really good. And the main thing is the dog actors were great. I know it's crazy to say, but when you can train a dog to do what they do, it's charming. But cool. Emma Stone, she just went way up in my books. Really, really good. So it's anybody with Disney Plus, take a chance on Cruella. I really enjoyed it. I love that Disney has taken the time to go visit the villains and give them human stories. So which is cool.
That works. That's cool.
So anything else this week that you want to bring up before we hit our review?
No, that was the only big thing that I could think of. The review is going to be fun tonight. The review is going to be fun.
Yeah.
Might not last very long, but the good ones usually don't.
So without further ado, we will leave you to Humphrey Bogart and the Maltese Falcon. I hope you enjoyed this review as much as we enjoyed watching the movie and talking about it, because just do me a favor, audience, take a look at this and think back to some Bugs Bunny cartoons while you're watching. You'll understand. You will understand completely.
Yeah.
So off we go.
Bye. Welcome to Old Ass Movie Reviews. This week we are reviewing The Maltese Falcon. What did you think?
I loved it. It was good. It was good. This is only the second Humphrey Bogart movie I've seen. Was this?
I don't understand that. I'm sorry. I'm going to interject. I can't. My mind cannot wrap around that.
This is Sam Spade is such a great character.
Oh.
And it was my understanding, I watched this on HBO, so they had this guy come out and talk a little bit before the movie started.
Yeah.
That was really cool. And it's obvious that they have really restored this movie. It is freaking gorgeous. It is cleaned up. It sounds amazing. It looks great.
Yeah, it does.
That was one of the things that got me, is the cinematography, the use of the shadows, the lights, the highlights, black and white at its finest. And just when the camera pans out and you see the reflection of Sam Spade on the floor.
Yeah.
It's like, man, every noir movie, even all the Bugs Bunny cartoons took from this character.
Yep.
Right there. And that was what got it rolling. And there's some neat characters in here. It was neat to see Peter Lorre again.
Yeah.
Joel Cairo. Yeah.
Joel Cairo. I after I saw this movie, maybe the second time I saw it, I went out and found a collection of Dashiell Hammett books. And one of the stories was the Sam Spade, the Maltese Falcon. And I read it, and I was amazed at what was in the book. But they gloss over some of the characters.
But I could see that.
But if you pay attention to the movements and the subtleties, like of Joel Cairo, they come straight out in the book and explain that he's a homosexual. In the movie, they just kind of like, you can kind of guess it, but you're not sure, whatever. And in the book, they talk a little bit about maybe Joel Cairo and the Gunsel, the kid, I can't think of his name. Maybe they had a thing at one time.
I forget what his name was. Yeah.
But Wilmer.
Yeah.
I mean, the book, for them to have done even what they did in the movie is amazing to me.
Well, I just love that you have a character named Mr. Gutman, and they call him the Fat Man. Gutman, Fat Man.
Yeah, and he's this big, heavy-set guy.
That was that actor, Sidney Greenstreet, I think.
Sidney Greenstreet,
this was his first movie.
Yeah.
And
damn. I was shocked.
Yeah. Damn. This is John Huston's first directing. Mm-hmm. Damn.
Right. And he's been around in Hollywood for a while. His dad, do you know who his dad was?
Mm-mm.
His dad was also an actor, but his father was the captain of the ship that walks in with the package.
Oh, really?
He worked. Oh, he wanted his dad to be in the movie with him.
That's cool.
For his first movie. So I thought that was really cool.
What they had said at the beginning of the movie, this is the third attempt to make a movie from the source material.
And I've seen the other two.
And really?
Yeah, it was Satan. What was it? Satan had a lady or something like that. And then there was another, I forgot the name of the other one, but they were both basically comedies, and they both do not resemble this at all.
I believe
whoever did them, I have no idea why anybody thought that was a good idea to do them that way.
Well, one of the things that they had said is John Huston insisted on Bogart.
Yeah.
And that's, yes, absolutely. I can't see anybody else in that role.
Yeah. The rumor that I had heard at one point was they, I can't think of the guy's name. There was an old gangster actor who always basically played a cop, or 90% of the time he kind of played a good guy. But he was so deep in the mob. Like, he was everything that all these other actors pretended to be. Like,
mm-hmm.
He really was.
And
I can't think of his name right off bat. I'll try to remember it and maybe text it to you. But initially, I guess the Hollywood uppity schmuckety schmucks wanted this guy. And Huston was like, no, I think I want Bogey. And the guy turned it down. He told him, no, Bogey's the guy you need for this. And he's done that. He had done that like several times for Humphrey Bogart. Like, they'd want this guy, and he'd be like, no, I don't want it. You know who you should get? You should go get Bogey. And Bogey would always be like the second or third guy on the list.
Yeah.
And that's how he built his career, was basically this guy saying, no, go get that guy, or no, I'm not interested. But yeah, Huston wanted Bogey for this initially, and he did get pushback. He got some pushback.
It's crazy because he is perfect as this. I have never seen this, but when I'm watching it, I'm seeing where things I like, and what the first thing came to mind was Bugs Bunny would do this character. And it's like, that's where it came from. Even the way those old cartoons did with the lighting, the shadows, I mean, they really, really played it up. The vernacular in this movie just cracks me up. And I meant to write down what he had said that was just like, what? But it's just the slang of the time. And it was really cool.
I love old Norse slang. You know, he calls the guy a gunsel. And it's like, oh, really? Okay. And you find out that's a gunman. It's a little punk gunman, you know?
One of the things about this movie I thought was really neat, and you mentioned it about, and I guess it's in a reference to strong female characters, is his secretary, who really is much. Now, I'm sure the book maybe goes into more detail with her because there is a story there with Effie.
Yeah, a little bit, but I don't think there's no romance. Like in the book, I don't ever remember there being a romance between them.
Not necessarily romance.
She just took care of them.
Yeah, but she was smart.
Yeah.
She was pretty, and he even makes a reference, oh, you're a detective or whatever.
Yeah.
She is in it, where I think they might have had a chance to gloss over because it didn't go very far, but you could tell was his relationship with his partner's wife.
Oh yeah. They talked a little bit about that.
It was kind of missing, and I thought it was very odd that as soon as his partner, spoilers, as soon as his partner is killed, Miles, I think it was,
Miles
as soon as
Archer.
as soon as Archer was killed, I mean, almost immediately, I need the names changed on the door, I need the windows changed, everything. Yeah. And it's like, they seem to get along, but there was something there. And I think all that was done maybe to add this tension. And then it made sense when his widow shows up, and it's like, oh shit, Bogey and her got a thing.
Yeah, they definitely had a thing. But it would also, as the watcher, you see that you're like, wow, this guy's kind of cold-hearted.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, he's really cold-hearted. And the girl, his secretary, she just goes along. She knows him well enough to realize, this isn't anything personal for him. This is business.
Yeah. And she knows all his personal business anyway.
Oh, yeah,
it's very obvious. They're tight.
I like how he's getting ready to roll a cigarette, and she comes in and sits down on the corner of the desk. She takes all the tobacco, and she does it for him and gives it to him and lights it. And the whole time they're having a conversation.
That is a great scene.
Well, what do you think it is? What do I think it is? And then he asks her, well, they think I did this. They think I did that. Who do you think I killed? And she just laughs, and she's like, you're taking this way too easy. You need to, you're not as smart as you think you are. You need to really sit back and relax and look. Basically, she's telling him you have to look at the whole picture. There's more going on here than either one of us could possibly imagine.
And there was.
And I think he takes all that in from her.
Mm-hmm.
And Effie is the perfect secretary. And
she is.
Yes, she's like, that's the girl that you want at your front desk to make sure nobody gets in that you don't want to see.
As you had mentioned, just like Daisy in Demon Squad.
Yes, yeah. And I would say that's where that actress got
very well
feeling
could be
for her character. That's just a guess on my part.
Yeah, because there's much more to Effie than just here's your coffee, sir. There's
And I would recommend Dashiell Hammett to anybody who likes like detective type novels, especially for the time period. I mean, he uses the slang, and he's one of the few guys of that time period that wrote the way people spoke. Like you can read that book out loud and you're not going to trip over words, because sometimes writing isn't speaking.
Nope.
And he did both. Like he could write it as you speak it, as you would say it.
Yeah, and that's actually a challenge, and I've written quite a few screenplays, is to make a point to make your characters as real as possible. They're going to have to be speaking as you and I are, which means, guess what? You're not going to have perfect grammar.
Exactly.
People usually have perfect grammar when they write, but when you're having a conversation, slang, dialect, just whatever will work its way in, and so. To write like that, it makes it more real. And all these characters were real. The cast was great. I can't imagine seeing this any other way.
Yeah, this was a good. They say, though, that a lot of people say this is the first noir movie. This is the grandfather of noir. This is the movie that everybody looks to whenever they're going to do like a black and white or a detective. I would literally bet money that the guys who made Blade Runner looked at this movie and went, oh, yeah, that's what I want. That's the feeling I want. It's set in the future, but that's the feeling I want. I want that.
Wow. I haven't watched Blade Runner in years, but instantly I see the whole setup.
Mm-hmm. And early on in the first Blade Runner, like when it was released at the theater, there's a voiceover going on from Decker, which I prefer. I've seen the other versions where they take the voiceover out, and for me, it misses something. There's not like they took something out of it that needed to stay there. And
unfortunately, there's so many cuts of that one.
Yeah. And I actually have one of the original cuts here with the voiceover and everything. So
I don't know which one I own, but I need to look that up. But yeah, I could definitely see how Blade Runner worked its way into that, using that.
For anybody who hasn't seen the movie yet, this movie, The Maltese Falcon, is about Detective Sam Spade. His partner gets murdered. He has got to find out who murdered his partner. That's the whole point of this thing. He's been hired, and his partner were hired to protect a woman and find this woman's sister that she says is in the city. Well, in interim, Archer gets killed. Spade is trying to find out who the killer is. He finds out that the woman that hired him, doesn't have a sister. And at one point, they actually have a conversation where she says something to the effect of, "I shouldn't have lied to you." And he says, "Oh, no, we knew you were lying.
Yeah, but
your money more than made up for it."
Yes.
The amount of money you paid us more than made up for it. And that's a great line, because both Archer and him both knew she was full of shit.
Yeah.
But she had a lot of money in that purse.
Unfortunately, it cost Archer his life.
It's not the money that cost him his life.
Yeah.
It was his libido that cost him his life.
Yeah.
But and in the whole point of everything that happens, the reason it happens is there's this falcon, this jewel encrusted falcon that everybody's looking for, and nobody has possession of it yet. And Spade, being Spade, has put all the little pieces together. He's got all the people coming in from other sides, from the other people that are involved are trying to hire him to betray the lady that initially meets up with him.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a cross and double cross, and you're trying to find out whether Spade's actually as bad as he seems to be, or whether he's a good guy, or what the heck's going on.
Yeah.
And it turns out he's a great guy, man. He is that. And plus the cops are trying to hit on him to leaning the heavy on him to try and get him to fold. And he's basically telling the cops, the city attorneys, the mayor.
That was a good scene when he was with the DA.
Yeah.
It says pretty much, "Fuck you, I'm out."
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like how whenever he's going on and on, like, "I'm not stupid enough to, turn myself in for the DA, the chief of police, blah, blah, blah." And a stenographer, he goes, "I'm not going too fast for you, my son." "No, I'm keeping up." And the stenographer's just sitting there typing. No, you're good. But it's such a good movie. And when he meets Gutman for the first time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good.
He was a good villain. He was a good villain. I mean, it was God, it was good. This I really dug this movie. And it was the whole triple crossing back and forth. And you got to pay attention, and you know the whole damn time that woman has been lying and she is involved. But when it all comes around, it's like, that's pretty damn slick. And I love Bogart's reaction to her. My God. Yes, at the end, where I hope they don't hang you by that pretty neck. But if they don't, I'll be waiting for you in 20 years when you get out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, damn, dude. He's like, "I like you. We could hit it. But you're either going to hang or you're going to be locked up for 20 years. I'll wait for you."
If they don't hang you, I'll still be here. If they do hang you, well, I'll get on with my life.
Yeah.
The whole thing is, she's like, "Well, you never loved me." It's like, you were never honest with me. Number one. Number two, he goes, "I'm going to tell you something. Whether you like your partner or not, when your partner's murdered, you have to find out who murdered your partner."
Yeah.
And then he goes on to this long, it's like one of the most famous monologues in all film history. It's been probably recreated in some form or another more than once, where he's just telling her why his love for her isn't enough for him to betray not only his friend, but betray himself and his own moral code, which is, you know what? He even tells her, "How do I know that you're not going to use this against me? If I do go ahead and throw everybody else over and save you, oh, no, you're not going to use this against me. How do I know you're not going to shoot me in the middle of the night one night?"
Exactly.
It's such a great play between the two of them. Marion Astor, right?
I think so.
Was such a great villainess in this.
Yeah.
Oh, she was so good.
She played it up so well.
And here's a prime example of when you and I talk about, and I know they didn't show, after the code came out, they didn't show breasts in films and love scenes really for the biggest extent. But there is a scene whenever he turns out to light and he leans into Astor and he's looking out the window at the guy, the Gunsel below.
Yeah.
And then it fades to black. And then it's the next day, and he's kind of skipping into the hotel to go meet Joel Cairo. And they made love that night.
Yeah.
They had sex, but nothing gratuitous. Nothing. They basically said fade to black. Okay, next day.
Yeah.
And there is well done.
Well, there's really no language. There's really no violence. That's no heavy violence.
No.
This
Joel Cairo around like a little girl.
Yeah, that was funny.
I told you not to slap me. You'll take a slap and you'll like it.
I loved it. That's all I can say. It was good. As far as since you've had me watch 2 critically acclaimed movies of Casablanca and this,
so good.
I like this better, but not by much. Not by much because Casablanca is to me such a freaking masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
But this was just good. This was fun.
They're 2 completely different movies.
They're very different. You get a different feel, but you're looking at two classics. They deserve every bit of respect and accolade that is given to them. So I highly, highly recommend that people watch John Huston's Maltese Falcon with Humphrey Bogart.
Definitely. The slang in it, the fact. I think everybody, for me, and this is always like was always a good thing for me. I always caught this, and I always loved the dichotomy or the play between the 2 characters. Was Humphrey Bogart, Sam Spade, and Effie, his secretary. It was always. The first time I saw it, I was like, that's brilliant. I mean, there's nothing there except respect for one another. Mm-hmm. I've always wanted, and I know this was horrible of me, but I always wanted to see like another Sam Spade movie where Effie is put into some sort of danger. How would Sam Spade have reacted to that? I'm thinking Sam Spade would have reacted very violently to anybody who put the screws to Effie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So.
And I would have liked to have seen that movie.
Yeah.
Where Effie found out something by accident or what have you, and she had to be saved by Sam Spade.
Yeah.
For me, that was always a movie that I always wanted to see. I always wondered if Dashiell Hammett had any more stories for Sam Spade. As far as I know, he just did the one. I could be wrong.
Well, what I like, and this is the writing of the female characters. A lot of times when you watch an older movie or even newer movies, the female characters are weak. They're ignorant. They can't get anything done without a man. Mm-hmm. But if you take a look at Effie, and I can't think of her name, the villainess in this.
Well, they changed her name so many times, but I think the last name she had was O'Shaughnessy.
Yeah.
I forget first 2 names.
First 2 names, yeah. Those are great, well-rounded, deep characters who are very independent, and it's just neat to see that something in 1941 is busting stereotypes to an extent.
Right.
And I like to see that. And you could say, I'm not trying to go on a rant or anything, but it's like, here it was in 41, they were hitting it.
No, I get it.
What the hell's the deal now?
The difference is I don't think they were trying to prove anything in 1941.
And there you go. In just the same way, nobody expected to be a big deal that Sigourney Weaver turned out in 1977 to be a superstar, badass. So, and that's Linda Hamilton, all of that. None of that was done to, hey, we're going to put a woman here and do this. So it's nice to just see something. Yes, these weren't the main characters, but they were not just your regular Betty Crocker women.
The actress that played Effie, very little screen time. I mean, altogether, maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, maybe a little more, but not much. Yeah.
I'll say 10 minutes on the outside.
But I remember her the most.
Because she was such a good character. She's a solid character. I'm telling you, man, if you're a guy or a woman and you want a secretary, Effie's the secretary you want. Somebody who can keep a secret and do what she's told when she's told to do it without giving you an argument and doing it for your good. And more than once, she basically pulls Sam aside and says, look, man, you got to take care of yourself, because you see it you can see it in Bogey's acting. His character is getting ready to go do something crazy. He's getting ready to go to the mattresses. He's getting ready to pull his guns, basically. And Effie's like, you gotta.
Yeah, she reeled it back in
here. Yeah, she'd be the one that he'd listen to. Like if Miles Archer was still alive, he wouldn't have listened to Archer in the same respect.
No.
Effie's the one who's keeping him grounded. Like, look, this is going on. You have to be very careful. And he's like, okay, Effie, darling, you're right.
Yeah. I even got a feeling, though, at the beginning of the movie, which is about the only time we see Miles, is there you can sense a tension or something with Bogey and that character. You just sense something is off, and it's like, and then you see it, and it's like that's a testament to their acting.
Yeah,
for both of them to play that scene and everything the way they did, and you still sense that something, because I didn't know he was about to die. I didn't know that was going to happen. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I didn't tell you anything about this movie.
No, and I'm glad you did.
I should say I was hoping that you'd like it. I'm very happy that you did.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great fucking movie. It's a great fucking movie, man.
Fucking movie's so fucking great.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so many Noir moments in there that are become the standard. Like if you're going to go do a movie and you're going to be like, oh, I need this to be more like a 1940s, black and white. You're going to go look at this movie. You're going to go look at Casablanca. You're going to go look at, what is the one, to Live? Shoot, I'll have to find the other one with him and Bacall. I forgot the name of it, but it's really good. He plays another detective. I'll get the name of it. You're going to love it.
Right. Yeah, I will definitely check it out.
But like you see these movies and you see what they do. And there's, like you said, there's not a lot of swearing. There's no swearing at all.
No, I don't think there is.
There's not a whole lot of violence. Maybe a punch and a swat.
Yeah, it's minimal by today's standards.
Yeah, but the story is so fucking solid. It's not even funny. The writing, John Huston's writing in this was great. I had read at one point that he had never read Dashiell Hammett. He knew of Dashiell Hammett at one point, but by the time this movie was coming around, he knew basically the guy was a good writer and this and that, but he had his secretary. Now, this is something I read years ago. He had his secretary, who was basically his Effie, read the book, make notes page by page. Like this happens on this page. This happens on page 2. This happens on page 3. She basically like made notes, blah, 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 blah. He went back, read her notes, and started writing the script. And then he read the book. So like he was doing like several things all at once. But it was
because he wanted to make it his and without being overly influenced. But one of the things that they said on HBO before the movie came on was that he, unlike the other adaptations, Huston decided to keep the actual dialogue that was in the book. Yeah. And I think that makes a big difference.
Well, I think you'll probably wind up reading some Dashiell Hammett. And whenever you read, if you do decide to read the Maltese Falcon, he did a great job. I mean, there were some things that he had to leave out because of the time. But yeah, man, what he left out was just stuff he had to leave out. But he still hinted at, like, whenever you read it in the book, you see it in the movie. And I'm sure that back then in the 40s, whenever you guys were watching this movie, I'm sure they picked up on everything. Like, I'm sure they picked up that Joel Cairo was gay, and that the Wilmer was gay, and the Fat Man was probably gay. Like, I mean, everything was just like, and everybody was betraying everybody, and you don't really see a lot of this until you read the book or you've watched the movie a couple of times, and you're like, oh my God, the acting in this is so subtle.
It is. It is. And it's so solid. I mean, everybody's so good at what they're doing in here. Really
and
good.
the guy who plays Wilmer, he's shoot, I can't think of his name right now, but he was a big time actor, big time like character actor. And he was character acting well into the 80s.
Oh wow.
Yeah, well into the 80s. But I love the scene where he's got the guns on him in the hallway and he's walking behind him, and then Bogey like pulls his jacket down and locks his arms
Right.
like around his hands.
Guns.
He takes the guns away from him. He says, "Go ahead, knock on the door. This will put you in solid with your boss." And he's got a hold of the guy's guns, and he hands the guns to the fat man and says, "Here, maybe you shouldn't let your what do you say? Your toddlers play with guns,
Something like it,
like
yeah.
that." It's like, oh my god, it's so funny. The kid is just the guy who played the kid. Wilmer is just. You can see his anger, like he's just like,
oh yeah,
angry.
Because he just kept hammering on him, and then they made him their patsy, and it's like, oh my god, they just never stopped. It was good. A lot of fun, obviously, was had.
Good movie all in all. So I'm glad you liked it, man. I'm very happy that you liked this movie.
Yeah. So that's your final thoughts. It's a definite.
It is a definite. Always watch, man, and watch anything with Bogey in it. The Treasure of the Sierra Madre. We're gonna have to do that.
I will definitely watch.
I think I've only seen that once. But
you seen anything good lately?
I started watching something the other day. What the heck was I watching? I probably just went back. I'll fall back on my usual British sitcoms.
Oh, okay.
After the summer wine.
Yeah.
But I haven't watched any big movies lately. I watched a couple of cartoons. Scooby Doo, stuff like that.
Yeah, good stuff.
Good
stuff. Always good. Always good.
But that's pretty much what I've been doing. I've been reading some books. I started reading 10 Cent Plague about the comic book scare from the 50s.
Very interesting.
Back when they started enforcing the comics code and why.
Right.
And just weird, man. It's just like you read this stuff and you're like, crap, nothing's changed.
Yeah. Well, speaking of comics and code, I do believe we have heavy metal coming up.
Heavy metal. That'll work. That'll work just fine.
Yes.
Good soundtrack, man. Good cartoon.
Excellent soundtrack. I can listen to pretty much every song on there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's solid. It's absolutely solid. So we'll be going into that. The only thing I've been watching lately is I've caught up with Loki. Here's my take. It is a great Doctor Who show. It's everything I wanted in Doctor Who.
Did you look at it and go, why didn't Hiddleston just become the Doctor?
He should have. Is he British?
Yeah.
Well, then we're done.
He's either British or Australian. I guess it doesn't really matter.
I don't think it matters for them as long as he's over
not
there.
American.
Not
as
American.
Long as he's not an American. It's okay.
Yeah, whatever. But no, dude, it is the story setups, everything. It is fucking Doctor Who. I don't care what anybody says. I watch that and say, this is Doctor Who that I like.
That's funny.
Yeah.
As long as you can look at it like that. It's like whenever I watched the Scorpion King.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the Scorpion King and I was like, Conan. It's Conan the Barbarian.
It sure is.
It's King Conan. It's when he takes the throne. So I see what you're saying with the Doctor Who.
It is definitely Doctor Who, and it's not just the fact that there's time travel. It's the way it's done and the character developments. Owen Wilson is great in this, and Hiddleston, and I can't think of this other actress name who plays a variant of Loki.
Mm-hmm.
There is a alligator Loki. There's a lot of variants.
Okay. An alligator Loki. I take it is what they're opening up?
There is actually a scene with about 40 different variants of Loki. But the alligator one is the best. He is the best. It is so fucking funny.
See, to me, it should have been a frog.
Yeah. But,
Thor was a frog. And
we can get really weird with Loki if you want to get into the Norse mythos of him giving birth to the world snake, the world serpent, and having sex with horses and stuff like that. So, I mean, a crocodile Loki does not faze me.
He's just he's one of the strangest gods out there.
Very much
so. He's just a weird god. I mean,
yeah. So the show itself has been good, and his character has taken quite an arc, and it's going to be interesting to see where they end this.
That's cool.
But yeah, it's been good. So next week, join us for Heavy Metal.
Heavy Metal.
It has been many years since I've watched
it's been a while.
the movie. Yeah.
Wow.
So until next week.
Gonna enjoy this.